This one's gonna be hard.
Big business.
I push it to the mud limit. Let's get it. Ryan and me, nigga, we gon' get it. Caught I was down, I salute the dealer. Let's get it. Everywhere we go, we keep it lit. Don't you know you a big business? Take a look at it. It's up in here on the mission.
Step under the game.
Good morning, good evening, and good night, whatever time of the day you are watching. I hope it is a good one. Today we have a very special video for you guys, and if you say that I always say that, well then honestly, shut the hell up, because I'm not in a good mood. And y'all know why I'm not in a good mood. Y'all see it right behind me. Y'all see the logo on my chest. The Pelicans were eliminated from, not even the playoffs, because we didn't make the playoffs. We were eliminated from the postseason. We did not qualify for the playoffs. Because, yet again, a season filled with hope was ended in a season of disappointment. And that seems to be the norm a lot with the New Orleans Pelicans. And it sucks because I have a personal connection with the team. I know we all have personal connections with our teams, right? But I was a ball boy for the team for 13 years. For the New Orleans Hornets and New Orleans Pelicans, I was a ball boy for 13 years. So there was a bit of a personal connection, even more so with my fandom for the team. So I feel like I also kind of take it easy on the Pelicans a lot, to be honest, given that, you know, because y'all see my Saints reaction videos and my Saints rants, and I'm a lot tougher on the Saints than I am on the Pelicans, and that's because I just have so many great relationships with some of the people in the Pelicans organization, and I want to see the team succeed so much, not just as a fan, but from a personal level, to see a lot of my friends within that organization succeed. But as this YouTube channel continues to grow and slowly grow, I'm not acting like I'm a big deal or anything, and a lot of fans actually like look out and seek my content when it comes to New Orleans sports with the Saints and Pelicans. I can't sugarcoat it with the Pelicans just because of my history and my personal connections with them. I have to give them the same energy that I give the New Orleans Saints. And this season for the Pelicans, everybody is asking, and I saw it's being a similar topics on the national TV shows, well, was it a failure or not? Was it a failure or not? And you've got to be out your goddamn mind if you don't think the 2022-2023 New Orleans Pelicans season was not a failure. Okay? Because this was one of the most, actually, this is actually saying something given our history. This is probably one of the biggest failures of a season for the history of this franchise ever. And we've had some pretty failing seasons with the Pelicans / Hornets. This is probably top 5. And let me give you the reasons why. Because, you see with the Saints last year, I'll give Dennis Allen credit. Okay? He let us know from the beginning that they wasn't going to be shit. We knew by week 2 that the Saints weren't going to be shit. Now, you know, fandom is fandom, right? Fandom and fans are fanatics. That's literally the definition of a fan, is a fanatic. So, you know, you see the team playing bad and you always want to be optimistic, and a lot of fans wear their rose-colored glasses and like, oh, we're going to be fine, don't worry about it. But, I mean, the Saints showed us early in 2022 that they weren't going to be shit. The only thing that saved the Saints last year was that the NFC South was historically garbage, that we had a shot going into January, and we still didn't make the playoffs. We still didn't make the playoffs. But yet, the Saints still showed us early on that they wasn't shit. Whereas the Pelicans, they teased us. They teased us. I'm going to get a little explicit. They gave us blue balls. You know, I'd rather a hot chick from the get-go turn me down than for a hot chick to make me take her out on 3 or 4 dates, and so much as not to give me a peck on the cheek at the end of it. That's what the Pelicans did. They took us out on the hot dates. They got our hopes up. For nothing. For nothing. This season was way worse than the 2022 Saints season. It was worse because they teased us. I was doing skits and videos while I was trying to talk trash about the Saints, hyping up the Pelicans. And I kept saying, I was like, Pelicans, the city is yours. The New Orleans city is yours for the taking this season, because fans were so fed up with the Saints that the Pelicans had a gold mine to capture the golden ticket, the Willy Wonka golden ticket, and say, this is our city now, Saints. Y'all can take a rest. We got it from here. What the Pelicans did, the Pelicans did the same BS that they always do. They fumbled the goddamn ball more than Alvin Kamara on the goal line. Alvin Kamara just caught a stray, I'm sorry, but he had a lot of fumbles last year. They fumbled the goddamn ball again. Because this isn't the first time that the Pelicans have had a chance to kind of capture the attention of the city of New Orleans. We had it during the CP era, and we had it during the Anthony Davis era. And every time you start to think, oh, the Pelicans are building something, they might be able to go on a nice little run, they fumbled the goddamn ball. They did it again this year. They had all the momentum from last season, right? You had a lot of casual fans finally paying attention. We had the casual fans' attention when we drafted Zion. And honestly, that's gone sideways, to be honest, but I'll get to that later in the video. But we had really captured the attention and the passion of the casual fans, the ones who don't really follow basketball last year when the Pelicans made the play-in tournament, won both games, and then made the playoffs. We only won 2 playoff games against the Suns. I mean, it's not like we went to the second. We didn't even go to the conference finals. We've never been to the conference finals as a franchise. But we only won 2 playoff games last season. But we still, the fight that the team showed, they took on the reflection of the city of New Orleans, and that's all New Orleans asks for. We like players that play hard. We like players that give 100% effort. And we don't ask for, I mean, we're not for the Pelicans at least, we're not asking for a championship right away or right now at least. Man, just make the playoffs. Like, give us something to cheer for. Show us that you got fight. And all the stars aligned last year for the Pelicans, where we were happy with just winning 2 games in a 7-game series against the Phoenix Suns. The ball was pretty low. The ball was pretty low for the Pelicans for the New Orleans City. And so this year, what happens with that is that expectations come. And that means that you can't just keep coasting on, oh, if we make the play and then we make the first round, fans are going to be excited if we get 2 wins or 3 wins at a time. No, expectations change. Fans want to start seeing more. You can't ride the underdog story forever. And yet, the Pelicans seem to have been following that trajectory because, as we know, at the end of last year, December, the calendar year, we were the #1 seed in the West. We were the #1 seed. Zion was looking phenomenal. Zion was looking like he was on another level against some of the best players in the NBA. And you know how exciting that is when you have a player who is that good that against the other greatest players in the world, he's actually on a tier above them. That's how good Zion was playing. Zion, and it showed, right? Because we saw how we looked without Zion. Zion was taking our team, and he had us as the #1 seed in the West because he is just that damn good. And typical Pelicans luck, right? What always happens whenever we get too close to the sun? We crash and burn out. January 2nd, Zion pulled the hamstring. And I had a bad feeling when he pulled that damn hamstring. I was watching the game, he pulled up lame. He had to go to the locker room, bro. My heart just kind of had this funny feeling inside. And you know, the fans were like, calm down. There's only going to be maybe a hamstring injury is 3 weeks to a month. It's not going to be that big of a deal. Let him rest. We got plenty of season ahead of us. Everything's going to be fine. But my heart just had that same feeling because fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I've seen this script before. I've said it many times with the Saints. I'm damn sure I've seen this script many times before with the Pelicans. Zion hurt his hamstring and the wheels fell off because B.I. was already out. He was already out with a bad toe. So now both of your superstars are out. Both of your superstars are out, and what happens? Suddenly the team looks like shit because it's the NBA, and the NBA is a star player-driven league. And when your 2 stars are out, it's hard to win games. Now, was I expecting us to lose 10 straight? Hell no. I thought we had enough depth to maybe, at least stay above, it's not even above 500, to stay at 500. We lost 10 straight games. And that's when I started to really have a little bit of, I guess, what fans call panic. And there's also fans, again, calm down, Jono, with diehards. Everything's going to be okay. A long season to go. And I was like, you don't lose 10 games in a season, folks, in a row, and think everything's going to be hunky-dory. And yet, B.I. finally came back. We got lucky, if you ask me, honestly. The last 2 weeks of the season, we started playing teams that either had a player injured, which I'm not going to feel bad about because we always have players injured. Or we were playing teams that were actively tanking, aka they were trying to lose games so they could have a better draft position. Or we were playing teams that just didn't give a shit. Like some of the upper contenders who already had their playoff season locked in, they were resting their starters because they were like, we already in the playoffs, we don't need to risk injury to our starters. Here you go, Pelicans, have this win. So we were able to take that momentum and go on a late season run, which wasn't like, I wasn't like, oh boy, the Pelicans are back. I was like, thank God the Pelicans took advantage of these great opportunities. And we were able to be yet again saved by the play-in. Not the playoffs, but the play-in. Because you guys know the play-in is for the bottom 4 teams of the top 10 teams in the Western and Eastern Conference. All right, so the play-in saved us last year because in the old days, it was only the top 8. The top 8 made the playoffs, and that was it. There was no play-in tournament. And I was actively opposed to a playoff tournament, to be honest with you. I was like, I don't like that. I feel like it's a participation trophy. Yet here it is because it saved our ass for the past 2 seasons. And it's given us great games and great dramas. So, I mean, I'm still mixed on the play-in. I feel like the best teams should make the goddamn playoffs. Screw all this, participation trophy. But I do get why the play-in exists. Last year, the play-in saved us. We were able to get hot at the right time. We made the playoffs because of it. This year, again, we were the 9th seed. So, again, if on the old NBA rules, we would not have made the playoffs. But we were the 9th seed. And so, again, we were in the play-in. We had to win against Oklahoma City Thunder. And then we would have to beat the loser of the Minnesota Timberwolves, Los Angeles Lakers game, which wound up being the Minnesota Timberwolves. And we couldn't even do that. We couldn't even get to the Minnesota game on Friday because we couldn't beat the Thunder. I think the average age for the Thunder players are like 19 years old. We couldn't beat them at home in New Orleans. So you're asking me, is the season a failure? Of course it's a goddamn failure. We went backwards. My worst case scenario, I was like, if we're going to be stagnant, like if we're just going to have a lateral move from 2022 to 2023. We didn't even have a lateral move. We went downwards. How can you say that's a success? And I think the bulk of our fans know that the season was a failure. But I've had a few people come to me and say, oh, Trey Murphy developed and he's looking good. He's going to be an all-star in the future. Herb Jones got his mojo back. He looks like he's going to be a solid foundational piece. Congratulations. I don't give a shit if we're not making the goddamn playoffs. Come on, man. If anybody would have came up to you the day that we drafted Zion Williamson and said, guess what? 4 years from now, you guys are only going to have made the playoffs one time, only won 2 games in that playoff series, and Zion is going to play 0 postseason minutes. 0. We would have been like, what the blue hell is wrong with this franchise, and why are we so goddamn cursed? And that's the reality of the situation that we are in right now. So I cannot fathom how anybody, even the most sunshine pumpers, optimistic of fans would say this was a successful season. Hell no. It was a failure. Stop sugarcoating it. Stop trying to be glass half full because it's your team. Come on now, I hate that stuff, man. When this is the Falcons that's having the seasons like this, we dance on their grave. The Lakers were having a season like this, and we were dancing on their graves. But when it's our team, when it's the Saints having the struggles, or when it's the Pelicans, we gotta be glass half full and look at the positives. Hell no, it was a failure. The Lakers fans, which they are doing right now, trust me, if you go on social media, they are dancing on the Pelicans fans' graves, and they deserve to. Because we were talking mad shit about the Lakers all season. And you know what they did? They didn't sit on their bus and just take it. They said, we gotta upgrade this goddamn team. And they did. And now they're in the playoffs, and we're looking stupid. We got the dick look, again. And Lakers fans have every single right. Because even our official social media account, the Pelicans official social media, was taking shots at the Lakers in December. Which is kind of crazy, right? Because, I mean, come on now. The Lakers franchise and the Pelicans franchise. If you're just going by history, we have no right even talking to the Lakers franchise, right? But I love it because New Orleans is petty. So I love that our official account was taking shots at the Lakers. But now look at us. And I see some Pelicans fans like, oh, the Lakers, y'all got no lives. Y'all shouldn't be, taking shots at us. Hell with that. Hell yeah, they should. Don't be petty if you can't take it. I can take it. So if Lakers fans or any fans, NFC South fans, whenever the Saints and Pelicans are bad, trust me, I do not give a damn if the opposing fans come and troll me. Because I can take it. Because you know what? I'm going to still talk shit back, so I'm not going to cry when somebody talks shit to my teams. Hell, if the Lakers get eliminated in the next week or so, I'm going to still talk shit. And I have no right to talk shit. But I'm going to still talk shit, because that's what New Orleans does. But I damn sure ain't going to cry when the energy is given back to us. So, I mean, honestly, like, the pettiness in me, that's what got me the most upset. So I hate when the fan base writes checks that our franchises can't cash. And boy, did the fan base write a lot of checks for the Pelicans this year. And god damn if they didn't fucking blow it for us. Now, we got the egg on our face. Now, the Pelicans fans got to take the trash talk from the Lakers fans and all the other fans. Now, the Pelicans fans got to deal with all the national media and all the other opposing fans saying, oh, that franchise ain't shit. That franchise ain't going to never be nothing. And what can we say? Because we never are. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm going to love this team to the death of me. I'm going to love the Saints to the death of me. I don't need that ride or die BS. Hell yeah, I know we all don't ride or die. But god damn it, you can hold your franchise accountable and still be a diehard fan. And it's time that we held the Pelicans accountable. It's been too long of this, man. It has been too long of this. Again, I was there firsthand. I was there for the Chris Paul era. Like, I was in the locker room. I was in the locker room for the Anthony Davis era. I'm tired of being disappointed, man. I'm tired of us always getting the first and second and third date, but then we never can seal the deal. And that's how it feels as being a Pelicans fan. We can never seal the deal. I mean, think about it. Zion only played 29 games this year. 29. He didn't even get to 30 games. He only played 29 games. Zion and Brandon Ingram together, I believe, only played 11 games. And I might be giving them too much credit. They might have played less than that. When your two star players played only 11 games in an 82-game season, that's not a success. That's a goddamn failure. None of that other BS matters. When your two star players, again, it's a star-driven league. When your two star players cannot play half a season together, that is a goddamn failure, because these are the two players that we are counting on to be a championship team one day. And we can't even get a half a season with these two together. So Zion plays 29 games. B.I. and Zion only play like 10, 11 games together. We don't get the Lakers draft pick. Okay, the pick swap doesn't mean shit because we wind up ultimately having a worse record than the Lakers. Where's the success of this Pelicans season? There is none. And I get that because the Pelicans are always discarded by the national media and opposing fans, so we are always kind of a little bit more defensive and sensitive to the Pelicans because, you know, it really is us against the world, right? You know, we don't want, you know, we're tired of hearing about, oh, the Pelicans need to disenfranchise or move to another city. We are protective of our franchise. I get that. I respect that. I'm just as protective. But I can still call us out on our shit. So I don't have time. I do not have time for the sunshine rainbow pumpers and putting lipstick on the pig is what it basically is. You're putting lipstick on the pig by saying, oh, here are the reasons why it was a bit of a success. Hell no. We are the first team in NBA history to be the #1 seed going into late December and not make the playoffs. That's an embarrassment. And I want the Pelicans to feel the heat. I want them to look in the mirror. They need to. We got to hold them accountable. I'm assuming they're holding themselves accountable. Like, do you want to be successful or not? Because if not, we're just going to keep going through the same circle where every blue moon we're going to have one of those seasons like 2022 where we get a little bit of optimism and then we fall back into the same damn pitfalls. There's going to be another 3 or 4 years where we're trying to regain the casual fans of New Orleans' interest again. When we had the prime opportunity this year to capture their attention, to seal the deal, and to make this become a real deal basketball town. I'm not saying we're not a basketball town, but I'm saying we could have really took it to another level. And every time I feel like we are about to finally take it to another level, we fumble the goddamn ball. So was the season a failure? Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I really want to know. I imagine, again, I think the bulk of Pelicans fans are smart enough to say, yes, this was a failure of a season. But I would like to see if anybody would dare say, nah, you know what, it wasn't that bad of a season. Please let me know in the comments. What do you feel? Do you think this Pelicans season was a failure? And I also want to know, what do you think was a bigger failure of a season, the Saints season or the Pelicans season? Because there's some who might argue that the Saints had a worse season in 2022 than the Pelicans did. I would say hell no. Again, the Saints at least showed us who they were from the get-go. The Pelicans teased us too goddamn much, and that's when you really get your expectations and your heartbrokenness when they lead you on just to crush your goddamn dreams. And now the other pressing issue and what a lot of the national media is going to focus on is obviously Zion Williamson, because Zion did the press conference earlier this week where he was like, well, I physically feel fine, but mentally I'm just not there yet. And I don't want to go out there if I don't feel like Zion. So obviously this caused a ton of uproar, a ton of discussion, a ton of debate. And it's ultimately, and it really pissed off fans, right? Because Zion was on the court before the game, you know, getting practicing, doing windmill dunks and stuff. And, you know, the fans are like, well, what the goddamn hell, dude? You can do that. I'm sure you can give us 10 or 15 minutes a night. Just do or die, dude. Come on, your team is relying on you. I get that. I get that passion. I get that frustration. I'm not mad at anybody who feels that way. I do think Zion needs a little bit of tough love. Like, dude, you're a professional. You are a max player. You are the face of this franchise. I understand the human element of it. Do not get me wrong. I understand the mental health reason of it. Even though I feel like we're throwing the mental health thing around way too casually these days as a clutch to, you know, make somebody feel better. But that's for another video. I do understand all that though. But again, when you're a professional and when you are making a lot of money, not that it excuses it, but there's going to be some pressure that comes with it. There's going to be some heat that comes with that, okay? That's what it is. I mean, you can't enjoy the riches of fat fanaticism by making all this money because so many fans want to see you, but then, you know, feel some type of way when fans also kind of turn that fanaticism into a negative or into you catching some heat. I don't mind Zion catching heat. I want Zion to play basketball. I think it comes in a place of love in a weird way from every fan because he is so damn good that we want to see this guy on the court. If he wasn't good, nobody would give a shit if he was playing or not, if he was always hurt or not. But he's so damn good. He has us the #1 seed in the West. Of course the fans are going to feel some type of way that he's not playing. Especially when he says, I'm physically able to play, I just can't yet because I'm mentally not there. But dude, you're going into year 5. I mean, I said this in my reaction video yesterday when I was really pissed off. I mean, I guess I'm still pissed off. But the Pelicans need to exhaust every option and resource this offseason into everything about Zion from a physical standpoint and a mental standpoint. Hire 3 or 4 more psychologists for the team to make sure everybody's mental is ready for the 2023 season. Invest every single dollar you can into the top-notch doctors, the top-notch physicians, the top-notch dietitians, everything to make sure Zion is at 100% shape. And I get it. Some injuries, no matter how hard you try, some of them are unpreventable, right? Zion is one of the most unique human body figures in NBA history. He's a big kid, which makes him really good. I'm not calling him fat. He's a big, muscular kid. He's putting a lot of weight and pressure on his joints. So maybe it's just, it is what it is. It's going to be unpreventable that he's going to always be, you know, prone to injury. But you had better be able to at least go to sleep saying we exhausted every single option. We left no stone unturned. We put every resource we had into trying to keep Zion upright. We have to. We have to, because he is the franchise. He is the franchise. So when you see fans and now some debating and shit, we trade Zion, hell no. Hell no. You want to know why? Because we're the New Orleans Pelicans. Easy answer. Because we are the New Orleans Pelicans. We're not the Los Angeles Lakers, folks. The Los Angeles Lakers can afford to have 2 or 3 bad years, and superstar players are still going to be knocking on their door to come play for them. LeBron James had a damn good thing going in Cleveland. They made it to the finals like 4 straight times. The Lakers were in a rough spell. They ain't made the playoffs, I think, like 2 straight years during that period. You know what LeBron did? He said, I'm going to Los Angeles. Because it's Los Angeles. I get it. Nobody wants to be in Cleveland or New Orleans when Los Angeles is right there and you can afford it. Los Angeles can always and will always. I call Los Angeles Lakers the white privilege of the NBA. They're always going to have a head start over every franchise because superstar players are always going to want to go there because it's Los Angeles. We don't have that in New Orleans, okay? Our best chance at always getting superstar players is usually through the draft. We were lucky that we got Chris Paul through the draft. We were lucky that we got Anthony Davis through the draft. And we were lucky that we got Zion Williamson through the draft. So it sucks, but yes, we got to cater to our superstars a lot more than these other franchises because we're not going to have, if we trade Zion Williamson, another NBA superstar coming knocking on our door saying, hey, I want to play for the Pelicans. It just ain't happening. It's not. Drafting a superstar is usually the way for small market teams to finally get a superstar in the NBA. That's the hard, cold truth. That's the hard, cold truth. So we do not have the luxury to trade Zion Williamson. And I get people who are going to say, yeah, well, he never plays any games, so I don't care. He's shown enough flashes of what he can do when he's healthy that you ride it out. You just ride it out. Because what else do we got to lose? Our franchise hasn't been that great for the past decade plus. So we don't have anything to lose. And when you have a shot, even if it's a small shot, at a transcendent player turning your franchise around, you got to ride that damn thing till the wheels come off. No, we should not trade Zion Williamson. Okay? Get that out your head. You got to deal with what comes with it, okay? Maybe it's karma, because a lot of fans started talking shit about Anthony Davis when he requested a trade. And I get that AD didn't request a trade in the most flattering, PR positive of way, so fans felt some type of way. But then, you know, those same fans that were ride or die for AD started trash talking him, talking about he was injury prone, calling him street clothes, making fun of every time he got hurt. Folks, you want another hardcore truth? The AD era was miles better than the Zion era so far. The AD era was miles better than the Zion era so far. We're calling AD street clothes when Zion has missed way more games than AD this far in the season or into their careers. So maybe we need to cut back on some of those personal jokes, you know? I'm all about jokes and being petty and trash talk, but maybe we should cut it back when it comes to a little bit of those personal digs at players because it seems like it's really biting us in the ass right now. And that's what just hurts the most, man. It's because the day that we won the lottery, the Zion lottery, and we knew we were going to get a chance to draft Zion, I wasn't saying, oh, the Pelicans better win the championship. I obviously wanted the championship. We all do, right? But again, the bar is pretty low for the Pelicans with the fans that I was like, man, if you can just give us a stretch of 7 to 8 years of being a playoff contender and, you know, giving us fun. Just give us fun. That's all we can ask for. Because our bar is pretty low right now as a franchise. And we haven't even been able to do that. We haven't even been able to do that. We're still doing the same old shit where maybe one playoff year out of 4. And then the other 3 years is just us floundering around in mediocrity. It hasn't even been fun, man. The Zion era has been more draining than fun. And that sucks. That sucks. Because every Zion season has been about debating about his body, debating about his injury proneness, you know, debating about does he want to be in New Orleans or not. We have not had fun. The fun that we have had, though, has been amazing. And it's worth keeping them to try to recapture that lightning in the bottle, I guess. But god damn, is it disappointing that the Zion era, I cannot look at anybody with a straight face and say, yeah, the Zion era has been a blast, because it hasn't. It hasn't. It is a third distant right now behind the Chris Paul era and the Anthony Davis era. And I had no way, you could not have told me when we drafted Zion that was going to be the case. But I don't know, man. Maybe this franchise is just cursed. I mean, look. Nola versus all y'all, right? Nola versus all y'all? Brother, all y'all is kicking New Orleans ass right now. All y'all is kicking New Orleans ass right now. Yes, this season was a failure, an epic failure for the New Orleans Pelicans. We need to get it together. I don't know how, I don't know where or why, but we need to get it together, and we have to rebound in 2023. We cannot treat this franchise with kid gloves. And the people in that organization, which I'm sure they are, don't want to be treated with kid gloves. We need to hold ourselves to a higher standard. We are going into year 5 of the Zion era with only 1 playoff appearance and 2 playoff wins. That should not be acceptable, folks. That should not be acceptable. Get it together. Get it together. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Am I being too hard on the Pelicans? Do you think it was a success of the season? Do you think it was a failure? I appreciate you guys taking this time out to listen to me ramble and rant. You are appreciated. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. And as always, do not be afraid to hit that like and subscribe button. Or not, I'm just a human being. But I'm not the law. See you guys next time. And as always, remember, I do this because this shit more than a game, man. This shit more than a game.
Big business.
I push it to the mother limit.